Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1004A, and today's date is June 22nd, 2016, and the title of the episode is IMF Downgrades the U.S. Economy and Pushes the TPP. Now, before I get started, I just want to make an announcement. I just uploaded today an interview with Stephen Lenman. That is on the X22 Report Spotlight YouTube channel, so you can go right over to that channel and you can view it there, or you can come over to the x22report.com site, scroll down a little bit, look over to your right-hand side, you'll see the video there, or you can go to newssentinel.com, same thing, scroll down a little bit, look over to your right-hand side, and you can play the video there. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, today we see the market, it closed a little down today. Gold is still being suppressed. It moved down a little bit, just like we expected. No big surprises there. But we're going to have to watch gold very carefully because, as we know, that gold is going to make a leg up once again. And this time, most likely, it will get above 1,300. And it probably will stay above 1,300. And this is a sign to everyone. If you're watching this, you're starting to realize that everything the government is telling us, everything that they've been reporting on, saying that the economy is doing well, you're starting to realize that things are not going as well as they are saying. We know they have been manipulating a lot of the data. We know they massage a lot of the information to make us believe that everything is fine. And we're going to see this ramp up as we move further and further into this year because they need to convince everyone that everything is fine. And they're not going to stop. Now, out in the Eurozone, we're starting to see consumer confidence. It fell in June. It dropped to negative 7.3 from 7.0 back in May. And we're starting to see that the people are saying, something is wrong here. And we know out in the European nations, they do the same thing here in the United States. The information, the statistical information that they are presenting to everyone, it is manipulated just like the United States. Those people who are sending out their resumes, who want to get a job, but just can't find anything, who are continually looking but haven't been on an interview, they're just not counted. They don't want a job. They don't want work. The same thing here in the United States. There's no difference. Now, Sharp is out there, and they are saying they're going to be laying off about 7,000 people globally. Now, we're seeing a lot of corporations lately coming up with these big layoff numbers. Now, if the global economy is doing so well, like the United States has been telling us, the corporate media has been telling us, they're telling us that everything is fine, why are these corporations laying off so many people? Because if the economy of the world, of the private Western Central Bank countries, if it is doing so well, we would see an expansion of corporations, of sales. But we're seeing the opposite. And this is how we know the job numbers are fake. This is how we know the economy, the information they're feeding us is completely fake, phony, and false because it fits what is happening in the real economy. Stores are closing. They're contracting. People are getting laid off. GDP makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. The service sector, the manufacturing sector, all in decline. The Baltic Dry Index declining at the same time. Then they come out today and they want us to believe that existing home sales, they are the highest since February of 2007. Everyone should be worried at this point. Because what happened after 2007 moving into 2008? Yeah, the whole economy came crashing down. But they're trying to convince us that everything is fine and home prices, they're still appreciating, everything is going well. And home sales are really taking off. And when we look at everything that they're saying, we see some interesting facts that really don't make any sense. First of all, I looked around the country, and except for those cities that they're continually looking at saying that home prices are going up, we look at the rest of the country, the other 100 or so cities, suburbs, we are seeing that housing prices are actually falling. I have a lot of people writing into me from all parts of the country, and they're saying, yes, I've been trying to sell my house, and I've lowered it 3 times already. I looked up in the northeastern section, a little bit west from New York City, and I see housing prices steady, or if as you move further out, they're falling. I look down in the south on the eastern seaboard. I see the same exact thing. Houses on the market. And guess what? Things are falling apart. Prices are continually coming down. Same thing in the south, Midwest, and the west. And when we look at this, we see FHFA. They are telling us that home prices are dropping. And then we have the National Association of Realtors. They're saying that home prices are reaching record highs. So we have conflicting information about what home prices are doing. Now remember, the National Association of Realtors back in 2008, what did they tell us when the real estate market was crashing, when the stock market just crashed? Larry Yen was out there telling us during that winter of 2008, going into 2009, housing is going to take off. Don't worry about it. Actually, the Fed told us they weren't even forecasting any type of recession in the same year it started. So then we look at Manhattan's luxury real estate market. And what are we seeing? Well, we have more evidence that the bubble is popping and people are getting out of the real estate market. Back in May, we saw that people were lowering their prices by 5%. Come June, it was 6%. The middle of June right now, it's 11%. They are cutting their price. So what we can see at this point is that the real estate market, we're starting to see things come down. We also mentioned a couple of reports ago about San Francisco. So when we look at this entire economy, what are we seeing? We're seeing a deterioration of what is going on. They need to continually lie to us to convince us that everything is fine. They'll do this until the very end. Even when we're in a recession, going into this major collapse and everything is falling apart, they still won't admit it. When I say they, it's the United States government central bankers. Now, the IMF is out there, and they are urging Obama to tackle poverty in the United States. Now, of course, according to Obama, the economy is strong. Everyone has a job. We're at 4.7%. So we have a little bit of poverty here in the United States. Well, actually, the opposite is happening. The entire country is dependent on government handouts. I shouldn't say the entire company. The majority of the country right now. A lot of people are on food stamps. A lot of people are suffering. We're seeing more and more companies lay off. People are having a very difficult time finding work. I know, just where I am, I know 4 people already that got laid off and they're looking for work. Someone in a tech company, someone who is working in the health industry, and they can't find work. They're continually trying to send out resumes, but they're having a difficult time finding those businesses to send it to. The IMF is also urging the U.S. to ratify that TPP as soon as possible. Well, of course, that will bring the United States into a third world country because parts of the TPP, they allow foreign workers into the United States, and the corporations are allowed to pay them whatever the going rate is in their country, which will not benefit the U.S. employee. We also know the TPP does not benefit the people, it benefits the corporations. And it will not help our country at all. It's going to be a complete disaster. If this passes, we will see a loss of jobs. The IMF has also downgraded the U.S. economy. Now, of course, as we know, the IMF predictions of GDP, they're never right. They're always off. They're always way too high. And even if you cut them in half, that's not even where the GDP is going to be. So right now, the IMF is out there saying that instead of 2.4, which we predicted back in 2015, we're going to lower it to 2.2 at this point. But we look at GDP numbers right now in the U.S., we're not even close to that. And it's just getting worse. We see the world central bankers. They are gathered in Basel Tower ahead of the Brexit result. Now, they're on the 18th floor of the main tower, and they're discussing the global economy. Now, they meet in secrecy. There are no minutes that are kept, and they're discussing what their next move is. Now, I can't believe that every country and the people are satisfied with this, where there are no minutes, we don't know what they're discussing, and all of this is done from a private corporation. The people have no say in it whatsoever. Why would anyone accept this? They are the root of all, or I should say most of our problems. Get rid of that, we're going to see a completely different type of economy. Look at Iceland. They got rid of their bankers, they took control of their central bank, and their economy is booming. But nobody likes to talk about that. We see out in the UK, the British people, they're getting nervous about what's happening here. They're scrambling to buy gold bars. They're stuffing them into safes in their homes. And they're very nervous. The Royal Mint in Britain, they said the gold, silver coins, and bars sales have soared 32% over the past month. Now, why didn't they rush into paper currencies of other countries? Because gold, that's real money. The paper currencies, they're absolutely meaningless. Go back in time. If you found a paper currency and a gold coin buried under the ground, you dug it up, which would you keep? You know it's going to be gold, because you know you can take that and you can get whatever it's worth in today's market. The paper currency, people are going to look at it, yeah, that's nice. It's, it's historic, you can put it in a picture frame, but that's about it. You can't do anything with it. And what we're seeing right now is the central bankers are very nervous about what's happening in the UK. The EU, they're very nervous about what is going on because it's a non-elected body, and this might cause a chain reaction throughout Europe. I mean, are they going to allow this to happen? Most likely not. And what we're seeing right now is all these central banking systems, IMF, EU, the Fed, they're very worried about what is going on here. The people are starting to speak up. The people are saying, something, we kind of had enough of your reign right now, and we need to do something different here. And the central bank, the governments that are intertwined with them, they will not allow this to happen. They are prepared and ready for any type of protest, riot, because as we know, they feel the people are a threat to their authority. And as this system continually deteriorates, as the system accelerates to the downside, we can see at this point that they're already making preparations to protect themselves, because they already know what's going to happen. The majority of the people that are still sleeping, they have no clue. And this is going to come as a shock to them. Think about 2008, when the entire system came crashing down. How many people were shocked? I mean, I remember talking to people saying my life is over. I lost my retirement. I lost my job. I lost my house. I lost my wealth. And since that time, it was never recovered. This time around, they have faked, they have falsified, they have created these illusions, and once this illusion breaks and reality sets in, it's going to be 100 times worse than 2008. And this time, the people are going to be angry. And the powers that be, they know this. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.